Hi, welcome to Kingdom Life today. I'm your host, Lynette Dutton, and it is so good to be with you. You know, this show is all about the kingdom life, so I want you to stay tuned because we're going to talk about living life.
Living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we live in it. We're living the kingdom life. My God keep blessing, yeah, you know that we just chillin', man. Living the kingdom life. You see me blessed, no, I never will be stressed, yeah. We're living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we live in it. Living the kingdom life. My God keep blessing, yeah, you know that we just chillin', yeah. We're living the kingdom life. You see me blessed, no, I never will be stressed. We're living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we live in it.
Welcome back. It's so good to be with you guys. You know, the Kingdom Life Today show is all about living the abundant life, living your best life, living the ascended life, living life everlasting, living how Christ wants us to live. When He created Adam and Eve, He didn't create them with an expiration date. You know, it wasn't until they ate of the tree of good and evil that time clock started ticking. So I want to share some tips, some clues, some biblical principles with you on how to live your best life. You know, in Psalms 91:16, it says, "With long life will I satisfy you." You know, the Lord wants you to have a long life. Now, He also talks in John 10:10, He says, "The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. And I've come that you might have life and that you might have life more abundantly." So let's talk, what does an abundant life mean? What does it mean to live abundantly? You know, I don't think it means to be sick, to be defeated, to be limited, to be under your circumstances, to have the devil on your back, you know, to be hating life, to be just living for the weekend. God wants you to live an abundant life. That means every minute of every day that you are living life to its fullest. You know, there's some people that when they find out or they're diagnosed and they're told they only have a year to live, or, you know, it looks like 3 years and that's going to be it. You know, you've got congestive heart failure and, you know, it's just a matter of time. And it gets them to think and put things in perspective. And so sometimes they'll come up with this bucket list. And so on their bucket list, they'll have skydiving and meeting certain people and going to certain concerts and, you know, maybe running or jogging, or, you know, maybe it's to eat all out of, you know, just pick some of the best restaurants and eat at all the best restaurants. Maybe it's to have, you know, the best time with their family. I know somebody who had was diagnosed with cancer, and, you know, they said, you know, it wasn't a death sentence per se, but it got them thinking of life in perspective, and they had money saved up, and they had inheritance and life insurance and money in the bank and stuff for retirement. And they said, why are we waiting and we're not enjoying any of this? And so they planned a big vacation for all of their children, their grandchildren, their great-grands, everybody to go to Disney. And it was like a full week of just family. They had family meals and they went on family outings. And I think each person had some special time with the parents. And so they just wanted to create memories. See, you should leave an inheritance for your children. The word talks all about leaving an inheritance and not leaving your family in debt. So this is not saying don't do that, because I'm very strict with the biblical principles. Leave all that. But then also, money comes and goes, but memories, they last. You know, what if instead of making sure your kids had the most Christmas presents or the most expensive Christmas presents. Now, I'm not saying don't get them Christmas. I get my kids Christmas. But what if we also, in addition, maybe took some of that money aside or some of the time aside from celebrating Christmas to do something to really make a memory? The whole family going out. So when they get older, when they have children, when their children have children, they can say, you know what? Every year we always did a different adventure, and we really made some memories. We went to the mountains, we went to the beach, we went to Disney, or maybe it could be easy things like we spent the day on the lake. We went sledding. We went snow skiing. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to make memories, but to make it really special. So not only do they have money to stand on, but they have these memories that are built up that just start creating a great foundation for their future. I'm thinking about some of the things that God has done for me and some of the things that he's done through our family. And we talk a lot about succession and legacy and lineage and having, the birthright and being passed down and mantles. We discuss all of that as a family. Family is very important to us. And it seems like it is even more so now than it has been in the future. Because I think, the younger you are, sometimes you take that for granted. And, as the years start clicking on and you see, your parents getting older siblings getting older, your children are getting older. And then you start, becoming Gigi and Pappy and, things start changing and things start getting leveled out into a new perspective. And I think the first time I realized it, I was in my early 30s, and I can be a workaholic at times. And I was in banking, and I was working just crazy hours. I was on salary, so I didn't get paid more for working more. But it was like I wanted to be number one. I wanted my branch number one. I was very driven. And my daughter, and I used to tell this all the time. I haven't told it in a while. My daughter told her teacher, and I think she was either in the 7th or 8th grade. It was a long time ago. She told her teacher that her mom was too important to come to a teacher conference, that she had important people to see and to deal with. And I thought, man, that's the perspective my child has of me. And I don't know if it was so much her perspective or she really just didn't want me to sit down with her teacher. But either way, it got me thinking about my priorities. And when I lost my job at the bank and started pursuing some different avenues, I got this receipt or this letter in the mail that talked about what I was in banking almost 15 years with the same corporation. And it came in and it says, once you hit 63, this will be your retirement. And I looked at that piece of paper and I just kind of started laughing because I thought by the time inflation starts setting in until the time I'm 63, this amount won't even pay the power bill that we have. I mean, it was borderline paying the power bill when it happened in the in the 90s. And so I was like, wow, this is just crazy. And I thought all that time I gave that corporation, all those minutes, all those hours, which equal days and weeks and months and years, that I'll never get back. And it was time that I didn't spend. Okay, so you got to get me. I spent time with my kids. I spent time with our family. But I was just thinking all that time that I spent away from them, I'll never get back. All the things I passed on to make sure I was working, I'll never get back. And they will not continue to pay me for that time that I gave. So it was some reality set in, which is why I started my own business and I started in insurance and I started sales and some of these different things where I could control not only the money coming in, but I could control my time and what I did with it. And so I can remember that first time I made that switch. I was determined I was going to drop the kids off, pick the kids up. When my husband called, I was going to be there. And, I had to find out. So I went totally the other direction, which, I was trying to make a living, but I was acting like a stay-at-home mom. So I had to bring the pendulum and find a good balance. Yeah, I can drop them off and I can pick them up. But then, from these hours, I've got to be uninterrupted, unless of an emergency. But that comes to tell me that I was counting the minutes, I was counting the time, and my time and how I find time is not how God calculates time. See, because I have been very time conscious, especially since I was probably a senior in high school or the first year I graduated. Everything was about time. I wanted to get right into business. I didn't want to go to college because of time and money. So I picked a different route, which was fine. And, I earned more than some college graduates earn. So that was never an issue either. I've always earned well. But I was always time conscious, and I was always goal oriented, and I was always deadlines. And so it was like, by the time I'm this age, I want to do this. I had my 5-year, I had my 10-year goals. I had plans for when I wanted my children. And then I thought, well, maybe I only want one because they take up a lot of time. Everything was time. And now that I'm thinking about some things, if you have everlasting eternal life, which is what God gives us, you think of time a little differently. Then you think, okay, well, most people I know are dying at 70. Well, God's promised us in His Word 120. And last week or the week before, I read you those scriptures. But He's given us at least a promise of 120 years. But then you also have these scriptures where Jesus talks about He abolished death. He took the keys of death, hell, and the grave, that He's come to give you life and life more abundantly, that with long life that He'll satisfy us. So then that needs to start changing our thinking about time. We're so self-conscious about that's not happening in our time. It's hilarious because when I was in my early 20s, I wanted to have a television program. I wanted to be on TV. And I wanted to do youth programs. I wanted to have all kinds of contemporary programming. What I saw on TV was not attractive to young people. And so I wanted to do something different. But I had no money. I had time. I had no money. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have kept pursuing it anyway. But so we were always on TV, but I was helping other people be on TV. I was extras, I was hosting, I was camera people, I was directing. I was doing all these different things in TV. But that thing I had inside of me that wanted to do a show, and then occasionally we'd just, for the fun of it, let's just think about what if we had a television studio? And then it'd be like, nah, I don't know if we'll ever be able to do that. And then God started bringing it back up. Life changed, times changed, things changed. And I found myself in approaching about 38, approaching 40. And we started thinking, well, we need to teach a school of the prophets. We need to flow prophetically. How are we going to do that? We can't do a conference every week or every month. Oh, Blog Talk Radio. We can stream. There's all different kinds of things that you can do. And this was back in, 2010. So some of this stuff wasn't even really out there we were just recording. We'd have to edit. We'd have to find a platform. And so about the time we got all that done, I can remember the day. And it was a dream come true. My husband, we were working out of a ministry, and he was wanting to travel and do some things on his own, which he was told that he'd be able to do when they didn't have anything scheduled. And so he started trying to schedule some things, and ended up, we got displaced out of the ministry we're serving in, basically. Loved them to pieces. It was a push in the right direction. I'll put it that way. Sometimes we don't step out fast enough, and so sometimes you have to get pushed. And so I can remember that was on one day, I want to say that was on a Wednesday, when it was like, we've got to do what God told us to do. And, we've just got to stay friends, and we've just got to, make these decisions. And the very next day, I don't even think I checked the mail that day because it was probably there already. But the very next day, I checked the mail. And I was thinking, great, I'm a commissioned salesperson, and my husband was the salaried position, and now he doesn't have a salary. And so we're starting to think, and we'd already been talking about cameras and producing and sending things out and, those types of things. And I went to the mailbox, and there was a check for $10,000. And in the letter of that check, I actually found it the other day, or I knew where it was, but I had ran across it the other day. And it says, I believe in you. Here's $10,000 to seed you and the things that you have on your heart to do. And we purchased our first high definition camera. Well, it could have been standard def. I don't even remember, but it was our first real prosumer camera that we could start recording with. And we started there. We fixed up a room in the house, and we started recording there. We had a very nice set. And I don't think those tapes, I'd really probably love to see them, but I don't think that they've ever been shown to anybody. I don't even know if we really critiqued them really good. But we had a series that we were doing talking about the prophetic, and it'd probably be hilarious. Maybe we'll do a throwback one day, and you can see us on our very first camera, our very first video shoot on our own. And that happened, and about 2 months later, before we even got them all produced and stuff, because I was working and the kids were going to school, and we had all kinds of stuff going on, and my husband was traveling. We got a call to take a church in Forest City, North Carolina. And doing that, we moved and we brought the camera and we started streaming services, but we weren't thinking broadcast. Now we were just thinking we're going to stream our services because now streaming was a thing. It was 2012, 2013 probably when we started doing that because we moved middle of the year. And that's what I'm saying. It's timing. So my heart for that was when I was in my early 20s. Destiny may have been too. So, I mean, it was probably like 95, 96. I was probably 24, 25 when we started talking about having a TV show. It wasn't until 2014 or 2015 until we actually had our own television shows. So that's just to kind of tell you is my timing was, if it wasn't going to happen before I was 30, it probably wasn't going to happen. Because when you're young, you're so short-sighted in time. And how many know, what is life? Life is time. It's measured. It's time. And it's memories, and it's energy, and it's people. It's what you do with people. And so, we had that short-sighted goal. And then we weren't on television for about 6 months, and we were doing 2 programs a week, every week, and we were streaming our services. And, just something, there was a few disconnects there. And we said, I feel God just wants us to come off for a while and to polish some stuff. Maybe upgrade our equipment, study. We just started discipling and pouring into people there locally and kind of put that on the back burner. And within about a year or two after that, God says, I told you when you moved here that you're going to be able to reach the world from Forest City, North Carolina. And I said, yes, God, you did, but we don't even have good cable. We don't have good internet. It's hard to stream. And he started saying, I don't want you to go on somebody else's network. I want you to create a network. And, I was like, okay, my husband's going to have to say something before I say something because I'm just this crazy wild dreamer, and I always have really big things that God tells me. I do have a supernatural gift for faith. So when he says jump, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, from the Eiffel Tower out of a plane? Where do you want me to jump from, Jesus? You want me to move? Okay, do we move today or do we move tomorrow? Most people are thinking 6 months, a year down the line. I'm like, no, this week I can ask my husband. I'm going to have to get him out here one day. And the most of the moves that we've done, I've packed the whole entire house in a number of days. And sometimes I've moved from one side of the country to the next with less than 2 to 3 weeks. And that's just how I am for Jesus. When he says to do something, it's okay, we're going. Because I know if he says it, that he's going to do it. And so unless he tells me, now you're going to move in 2 years, but I think he knows not to, because then I'm like already done. That chapter's closed. I'm already on to the next. But that's time and that's life. And so how do we live the abundant life? One is, let's just take time to give him all the glory. Take time to pray and to fast. And let's not worry about some of this other stuff. The Word of God says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Well, guess what? What are some of those things? Houses, cars, your utilities being paid, your mortgage being paid, your kids being raised and taken care of. When you dedicate your children to the Lord, this is something I'm trying to learn, is when you baptize them and dedicate them and raise them and train them in the Word and in fear of the Lord, that holy reverence, that holy fear, you have to give God the rest, because there are times where mom's not there to make sure that the decisions that they make are the best. And I've messed up, my kids have messed up, and that's a part of life. But I have to know that they are in the palm of God's hand, and he has given them long life. So I know that I'm committing them to the life of Christ, and I'm teaching and training them on every day. And now it's the same with grandkids. So what we have to do is we have to say, Lord, where are you taking me today? I know Lynette's plans. I had another notebook out here, but it had lists. It had lists of everything I was supposed to do today. And so I've crossed out some things and put the rest on the list for tomorrow. I've been working a lot. We've got several guests coming to the studio new. And so it's like, I'm trying to make the most out of every minute I've got. And so in doing that, I often, if it's not first thing in the morning, a lot of times I'm running late, because it's like, can I make one more phone call? Can I send one more email and still get there in time? Well, then I'm flying by the seat of my britches. So I'm just telling you, we have to sometimes put our agenda and our timelines aside and to really embrace the timing of God. And we're going to talk some more about this next time, about the timing of God and how things shift and how mantles are passed and how lineage and succession works. But I've got a rich heritage. My husband's got a rich heritage. And I don't want just my own. I want everything that my great-grandmother and those before her, I just really know my history from my great-grandmother and from his great-grandparents on. I want to take all of that and everything that we build and are and live and pass to my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids. And it's scary to think about it going even further than that. So God's timing and God's timelines and God's thoughts are much higher than ours. And so I want to encourage you, even if you think that you have missed it, even if you think that it's past time, that there's no way that he can redeem the time. You know what? Just like he redeems our soul and he saves us, he can redeem the time, and he can redeem your health, and he can redeem your thoughts, and he can redeem your dreams. Because guess what? He's put that stuff inside of you. We sometimes skew it sometimes, but that main thing, that main drive, that main passion, that comes from the Lord. So let me just pray real quickly over you before we go. Father, I thank you for these brothers and sisters of Christ. And I ask, Father, that you redeeming power just come and redeem the time, redeem the dreams, the energy, the strength, the zeal, the passion, the health, and the life of each and every one of them so that they can live the kingdom life, which is the best life, and that's the life that they deserve. Until tomorrow, I want you to live your best life now. Have a good one. Hi, Lynette Dutton here. I want you to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on some others, I'm sure. But I want you to connect with me. I want you to go to my website, LynetteDutton.com. I want you to email me at Lynette@Dominion.tv. And I want us to get connected. I want you to partner with me on spreading the gospel of the kingdom message. Hi, Lynette Dutton here. Thank you for tuning in today. But let me tell you, I want you to connect with me even outside of my daily television program. I want you to go to LynetteDutton.com and avail yourself. I want you to follow me on social media. My social media handles are below. I want you to email me, Lynette@Dominion.tv. I want your testimonies, your prayer requests. I want us to get connected on this kingdom journey. And let me tell you, I am looking for people to partner with me on keeping the message of the gospel of the kingdom going global. So will you partner with me? A one-time partnership or a monthly partnership? You can do that at $ Lynette Dutton, or you can go to Dominion.tv/giving. Thanks so much.
Living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we living it. We're living the kingdom life. My God keep blessing, yeah, you know that we just chillin', man. Living the kingdom life. You see me blessed, no, I never will be stressed, yeah. We're living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we living it. Living the kingdom life. My God keep blessing, yeah, you know that we just chillin', man. We're living the kingdom life. You see me blessed, no, I never will be stressed. We're living the kingdom life. I don't know what they told you, but you know we living it.